Getting to work is a dull thing that most of us have to do at least some days of the week. But if you want to cycle to work to save some money, get some exercise, or just get into town faster, then there is a very simple and cheap way to start doing so. So if I was starting to cycle commute in 2026, this is what I do. Chances are you want to try cycling to work to save a bit of money on cars, trains, buses. It'd be really stupid of me to start by saying, go out and spend a load of money on a new bike, loads of kit and pointless gadgets. So I would say start with whatever you have. One survey suggested that 75% of us commute less than 10 miles to work. And for that, a super fancy bike just, well, it isn't needed. The right bike for commuting is probably the one that you already have. So you might have a bike that's already in the shed, you might get one off Facebook Marketplace, but let's be honest, the worse a commuting bike looks, like this, the less likely it is to get stolen. There's also nothing much that you really need for riding short distances. Maybe a rucksack if you haven't got one, and a helmet if you want to wear one too. The issue comes when your ride is more than a few miles long. Like for me, to get into work is 21 miles, and that takes me about, well, just over an hour. I just don't think I'd want to do that on a crappy bike or just in my regular office clothes. The reality is I'm going to turn up to the office all sweaty and stinky, and that's not very nice for anyone. So if your ride to work is going to be long like mine, well, I'd suggest it might be time to invest in a more efficient bike and some proper cycling kit. And then all your money's gone. But whichever bike you get, make sure it functions properly. So the brakes need to stop you and the gears should change smoothly. Oh, and don't forget to pump those tires up. Or there is something else that you can do, which is to start small and do part of your journey by bike. Diving straight into a massive ride from home to work is an absolute non-starter for loads of us. So if you usually drive the whole way, try sticking your bike in the back of the car. Hopefully that'll save you some fuel on being stuck in traffic, like I am now. But also parking is much easier, and sometimes it can be free too. That way you'll also get what is hopefully a manageable ride distance while also getting some of the benefits of cycling, namely a bit of fresh air, wakes your brain up before work, but also it's a little bit of exercise too. Add in all of that money saved, and I think that's a winner. Having your routine sussed out is a great way of making life a little bit less stressful. And for me, that really starts with kind of knowing where I'm going. But how do we do that? Because it sounds simple, but it's not. You can use things like Google Maps to plan your route. And their cycle mapping is actually really, really good these days for most towns and cities. Because really, you probably want to use different roads to cycle to work than you do to drive. Like I know that I need to take this little slip so I can get on that bridge. Hello, hello. Okay, so if I want to get into the office from here, I'm just going ahead and put in the address, and I'm going to hit directions. And then, as you can see, I've been given two options. That's for driving though. I want to hit cycling, and again, I've got two options. Now, the first one that it's giving me is absolutely perfect because this is down on the Bristol to Bath railway path. It's cycle track, and it's quite good. The only thing I would say though is that I know that in the winter, this bit along here gets very, very muddy and very wet. And I haven't got mud guards on this and I don't want a wet bum. So I could take the A4. That is the road route, but it's not saving me any time. So I think I'll stick to the cycle path. So if I slide up, I'm going to get a rough elevation, and also I can see that it's going to take me about 13 minutes to do this 2.5 mile route, which is really, really good. So let's get going, and I may as well tell you about this next top tip while we ride into the office. I've forgotten my bag. We'll go back and get that right now. Oh, Andrew, I'm having a mare here, mate. I dropped my office keys on the floor. Don't close the door on the expensive wheels. Ugh. England gets about 135 days of rain per year, apparently, but because only 1 millimetre of rain is needed to count towards a rainy day, the number of wet days that you might commute through is going to be significantly less. But statistics don't make them any less annoying. So here are some things that you can do. Fitting mudguards is a very sensible idea because if they're good and they're well fitted, they'll stop your butt from getting all wet. Add in a decent waterproof and you should have yourself covered for the majority of those rainy days. I will say though, when the rain is biblical, I'm just gonna go and get the bus. I have to say, I don't mind cold weather. You can wrap up all snug, and unless you're doing a big commute, you don't really need cycling specific kit. This, for example, is my winter coat, and it's not at all a cycling coat. For riding a few miles into town, it is absolutely fine, but my hands, they will get cold. So a pair of gloves is a good idea, but you don't need to spend loads. Lidl do really cheap ones sometimes, but Decathlon is another great option for value. By law in the UK, you only actually need lights on your bike if you're cycling after dark. But if you work relatively standard hours, then you're gonna need them in the autumn, winter, and spring. We actually beam test a load of front lights, and we have full independent reviews of front lights and rear lights over on the site. So I'll link you to those in the description below. But if you want just some tips, I like something with about 30 to 50 lumens on the rear, and up front, if you're riding through town, you probably only need 400 lumens. Regardless, those kind of come as sets in most bike shops, so head down to your local bike shop and see what they've got on offer. So cycle commuting can save you time and money. Are you tempted to give it a go? Let us know in the comments below. Right, I gotta get to work. Come on. Been mucking about too much today. Down into third, down into second, tricky right. I checked my mirrors. Cool, next location. Oh, you know. Whee! You remember in your glory days on love cars? Oh.